do you think after being, of course, on both sides of Bachelorette, then The Bachelor, and then watching him as someone who's coming in who has not been, we were talking about this earlier, do you think that they should continue with maybe breaking the wheel and maybe bringing other people in that has not been on the other side, that have not been on the other side?
What do you mean by what?
Like, do
people
you
that that weren't contestants?
Oh,
yeah. Do you think that that's something they should continue to do? Just in your opinion, of someone who was a Bachelor who was on The Bachelorette, and after watching that season.
Well, I guess it just depends on how you look at it, right? From a show.
No, how do you look at it? I want to know what you personally think.
Well, I'm explaining.
Yeah. Okay.
I look at it understanding. Like, I recognize it as a TV show, right? I don't pretend that it's not, right? And as someone who, like all of us who've been on it, it's very personal. It's still our lives. It's a real life experience within an environment that's also a business, right? And you can recognize both, even though, you're personally affected by the things that go on in that world. From a show standpoint, I think we saw the benefits of why the show, up until this point, has had people come in with some experience, because this world is crazy and bizarre and hard to understand. And it's so hard to be the lead, as Tayshia knows. Like, just the expectations, the decisions, the production of it. You're really, in fact, they call it a lead for a lot of reasons. You're really kind of leading the show, and you're leading the beats, and it's just that much hard. It's already a hard job. It's that much harder, and I think it's just easier for everyone with a little bit of experience. There's also a level of authenticity we got to see with Matt being new to this, but I think it was nice to see. But going forward, I personally would prefer them to kind of go back to casting people that we've gotten to know a little bit. Because what was it? Another criticism we saw a lot. We didn't get to know Matt. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's true. Like, now you can criticize the show a lot for a lot. Like, I thought it was nuts that they had 35 women show up. Like, I don't care who you are or whatever. Matt never got a fair shot of spending enough time. There's already a limited amount of time. And I thought that was nuts. But another side of that is the show kind of has this playbook, right? And you can criticize the show for not adapting or adjusting. But, we got to know Tayshia on Colton's season and on Paradise. You got to know me on my 2 seasons of The Bachelorette and on Paradise. And so part of the Bachelorette and The Bachelor is to get to know the cast, the new people coming in. And so they had to figure out, well, we also have to introduce people to our Bachelor, and that's harder to do. And so there's only, it's on 2 hours a week for 12 weeks. And so they have to, and then they, you want drama, you want, you're trying to fit too many things into a small space. And so
too many storylines.
Yeah, it's too many storylines.
Getting to know too many people. Yeah.
So if you go back to like having new people come in, you're going to continue to face that criticism of, we don't know who our Bachelor is or our Bachelorette.
Yeah, but honestly, when I was a Bachelorette, people said the same thing sometimes. Like, we're learning so much about these guys and we don't know much about Tayshia. And that's was just because some people were tuning in for the first time. I think you're always going to run into that problem, regardless of if they've been on the show or not.
That's true. Listen, what we've learned about this show is fans are very passionate. They're going to have opinions and not going to make everyone happy.
Definitely.
But I do think that is only going to get worse on that aspect. But you're right. There's only, and everyone who goes on that show, every lead especially, always feels like people didn't really get to know who they were, right? They got fit into a silo of a certain storyline that they don't even feel that they necessarily had total control over because well, this is a show about love.
Regardless, I mean, I feel like people are going to have a problem with no matter if you know their storylines or if you don't. You know what I mean? You get to know their story and then, you don't, I don't know. People make their own perceptions,
Yeah, and like
just like Nick said, you see their storylines play out on one, like The Bachelor. I feel like you're very kind of closed off and you kind of don't see as much personality. Paradise, you see a lot of people be a little bit more open or whatever. And then when they are the lead, it's a totally different dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, they're also different shows. Like Paradise is more considered a comedy. I think whoever's editing it decide like they allow more jokes to be told. I hear that a lot from people I talk who go on The Bachelor or Bachelorette. It's just like, I was funny or I said this, they didn't air it. I mean, here we saw a season where they left out 2 dates. I mean, all of a sudden Tasha's in the trailers, and you're like, where were you? You know, like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of shit that doesn't make the cut, right? And
Yeah.
The Bachelor and the Bachelorette is more of a dramatic love story, and Paradise is more of a comedy, and that's why you see people show different sides of them. So yeah, and everyone, like, you know, everyone goes on there, and I, you know, even myself, you feel like people didn't get to know you, and we all get sensitive about, you know, our own experiences.